Met fans, what is going on? What is going on? It is your boy David from Top Bunk Sports, and I'm here with a breaking news. The New York Mets have traded for left-handed center fielder Cedric Mullins. Now, of course, everybody thought that the Mets were gonna go after Luis Robert Jr. It was reported by Mike Feinsand, however you say his name, that the Mets were likely not going to get him, which everybody assumed right away that the New York Mets were going to go after uh, Cedric Mullins. That was the next guy. And as you see right here, I put it on my thing. Uh, the Mets have traded for left-handed center fielder Cedric Mullins for Anthony Nuñez, Raimon Gómez, and Chandler Marsh, excuse me. So let's actually, you know what I'm gonna do right now as we are in this mark. Let me see if I can find this thing. Mark, here we go. So I'm gonna find his tweet just so you guys can see what I was talking about when he first. A lot of crazy trades that has happened today. We will discuss more about the other trades around the league. Excuse me, as I joined the Live for Seven Express. But let me go back to his tweet in terms of the Mets and Luis Robert Jr. It was reported a couple hours ago, and he's very in tune. He's trustworthy when it comes to baseball news. So okay, here we go. So, although the White Sox have spoken with a number of teams about Luis Robert Jr., sources say it's most likely that he stays with Chicago through the trade deadline. The White Sox will likely pick up his $20 million option for the 2026 season and hope for more of what they've seen over the past month. Which, like I said, likely basically makes it 100% that the Mets won't or didn't trade for him. So they went after Cedric Mullins. And now, what I do want to do as we continue, I do want to go over the stats for Luis Robert Jr. and Cedric Mullins within this season. Because I think that's very important. There's a lot of people that think that Cedric Mullins' stats within this year alone was a big drop off compared to Luis Robert Jr. So let's compare it. So what I'm gonna show you guys right here is obviously this is right here, his stats for this year. 229 batting average, not so well. 15 home runs, 49 RBIs with an OPS of 738. So he hasn't had a good season this year. But if you look at Luis Robert Jr., 213 batting average, 11 home runs, 43 RBIs with an OPS of 653. So even though Luis, his last seven days, if you look at his numbers, right, he's 4 games, 4 games played, 14 at bats, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. But like I said, it's his numbers are solid. His numbers are solid for what he brings to the table. Now, a lot of people do understand that when it comes to Luis Robert Jr., he provides a lot of defense at center field, and he steals base. He's a very good runner. He steals a lot of bases, right? Cedric Mullins also has speed as well. And for Cedric Mullins, I want to bring him his baseball savant page. It's not the prettiest. It's not the prettiest. A lot of blues. Obviously, when it comes to his fielding, it's very respected. 83. So that's one red, and then obviously his speed. Like I said, Cedric Mullins can steal bases as well. You look at his base running value as well, 78, but everything else is blue, man. Everything else is blue. He's not as good of a hitter as people project him to be. And yes, he will give you pops at certain times. He will give you home runs at certain times, but it's more about his defense. And the one thing that we spoke about, that I have spoken about on many Twitter spaces and all that, is that when it comes to what they're trying to accomplish within trading for center field, is somebody that not only can play a better center field consistently than what we have now within Tyrone Taylor, right? And obviously Jeff McNeil, who hasn't been that bad, but he is not an everyday center fielder. So you wouldn't want to take that chance while you're trying to win this championship. You're trying to have a sustainable center fielder that can play that position at a consistent level and at a good rate. This is a better upgrade. A Cedric Mullins that you're seeing right now is a way better upgrade, and I like it. I absolutely like it. I think at the end of the day, you get a premium defender at center field. Yes, his bat is not that great, but like I said, your offensive guys within your top four hitters got to do the job. Now, if Cedric Mullins ends up coming here and starts raking, that's even better. I think when you compare the two between Cedric Mullins and Luis Robert Jr., the offensive side is what everybody's talking about, because when it comes to Luis Robert Jr., he provides a little bit more power. But again, that's pretty much what it is. It's his power, and then obviously his defense that everybody was intrigued to look at. Same thing with Cedric Mullins. His bat is not that crazy, but his defense is. So in terms of what they were looking for center field, I think they accomplished it. It may not have been their number one guy. Obviously, Luis Robert Jr. was probably their number one guy for how much he was talked about within the Mets looking into him. But knowing the White Sox history and knowing how it's been reported that he does not like Steve Cohen and the Mets, when the Mets being the front runner with the Phillies being behind them before they traded for Harrison Bader earlier, um, the asking price was probably a bit too high. The asking price was a bit too high, and the Mets probably looked at them and was like, "Nah, come on, man. We're not gonna. He's a rental right now. We're not gonna pay that much." And I don't think the Mets paid that much either for Cedric Mullins. Like I said, they traded three prospects that were below the top 10, maybe one. You see, obviously, you see right here. Actually, I have the MLB article right here, so let me post this up right here. Okay, so you see the Mets gave up number 14 prospect and Anthony Nuñez, number 30 prospect Raimon Gómez, and a high A reliever Chandler Marsh. So you didn't give up anything from your top 10, and I think that's impressive to say for David Stearns, because again, if the White Sox, which I'm assuming probably wanted a top 10, they were probably looking at the like, no, it's not he's not that crazy to give up a top 10 prospect. We're not getting a fucking superstar in the making. You know what I'm saying? Like, they value at least their top 10, to where it's like, no, if we're not getting a superstar back, whether it's a pitcher or a position player, I don't want it. I don't want it, and I don't need it. So again, like I said, the Mets were able to do exactly what David Stern said a couple weeks ago in his last press conference when they asked him about the trade deadline. He said that we're trying to get a couple bullpen arms and we're trying to look into fixing the center field position, and that's what they did. That's what they did. Again, they got Tyler Rogers and they got Ryan Hazley. And now you have your center fielder in Cedric Mullins, who again who's injury prone at times, but not as crazy. Who really doesn't have a great bat, but can give you contact at certain times, and can give you and has shown the ability to hit home runs. But it's a great center fielder in that position. So it helps. It helps. There's obviously a couple things that you would have liked to have within Luis Robert. If they would have traded for him, he would have definitely hit behind Pete. So that protection for Pete Alonso definitely would have been key. But we'll see where he fits in that lineup, and we'll see who will protect Pete. Now that Cedric Mullins will be a New York Met. In terms of what I think David Stern should do before we hit 5 o'clock, as of right now, I am recording this video at 5:05. 6 o'clock, excuse me. The trade deadline ends at 6 o'clock. We have about an hour. So it's looking like, report from Will Salmon, he basically put out an article about 2 hours ago, saying that the Mets are basically staying pat. They're happy with the moves that they made, but we still have an hour left. What they may get within the next hour could be a starter. Maybe they could add another arm into this rotation where we don't have to worry too much about a Frankie Montas or a Clay Holmes being up and down, where you can start making that transition for Clay Holmes, for example, and put him in the bullpen, where you could tell him, thank you for your services as a starter this year. We think you'll benefit in the rest of the year as a bullpen piece, because you've been in the bullpen for most of your career. So, that maybe they could do that, but it depends on if they get a starter. And as of right now, I think they're gonna stand pat. But you never know. Within maybe 10 minutes before 6 o'clock, around 5:50 to 5:55, the Mets end up making a move to where they end up getting a starter. Who knows? But the breaking news as of today, their only move, they got their center fielder, and that's veteran left-handed hitter Cedric Mullins. With that being said, guys, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know this trade deadline is stressful, but just wanted to come here and break in the news that the Mets have traded for Cedric Mullins. We got our center fielder, and let's see how it plays out the rest of the season, man. Appreciate y'all, and I will check you guys out on the next video. Peace.